My parents, who hadn't contacted me for a long time, suddenly demanded that I become a surrogate mother for my favorite sister. I, 42F, never thought I'd be writing this post, but after what happened last week, I need some outside perspective. After 13 years of minimal contact, my parents suddenly reached out saying they had something important to discuss. My husband Greg, 43M, was worried it might be something strange, but neither of us could have predicted what was coming. I have an older sister, Emily, 44F, who has always been the golden child in our family. Growing up, it was crystal clear that she was everything my parents ever wanted: athletic, beautiful, smart, and seemingly perfect in every way. They would constantly praise her, calling her their golden apple or perfect princess. Meanwhile, I was the unplanned surprise that came 2 years after Emily. Being unplanned wasn't my only a sin in my parents' eyes. I was born premature with a serious heart condition that required multiple surgeries and constant medical attention throughout my childhood. They would make these passive-aggressive comments like, "We could have taken that vacation if we didn't have all these medical bills," or "Emily's college fund would be bigger if we didn't have to deal with your hospital stays." The contrast in how they treated us was stark and painful. Emily's smallest achievements were celebrated with parties and presents, while my accomplishments were barely acknowledged. I remember once winning a state-level writing competition in high school. My parents skipped the award ceremony because Emily had a regular soccer practice that day. It wasn't just the big moments either, it was the daily little things that really drove home how different we were in their eyes. Emily herself was fully aware of her golden child status and took full advantage of it. She would often bully me, knowing our parents would never take my side. There was this incident when I was 12, she pushed me down the stairs because I accidentally touched her science project. I had a massive bruise on my back for weeks. My mom's response? "You should be more careful around Emily's things." That was it. No punishment for Emily, no concern for my injury, just another reminder that I was worth less than her belongings. School was my only escape, but even that was complicated. My health issues meant I missed a lot of classes, which made it hard to keep up. Emily was getting straight A's and excelling in sports, while I was struggling just to maintain average grades between hospital visits. The comparisons were constant. "Why can't you be more like Emily? Emily never has trouble with her homework. Emily doesn't make us worry like this." By the time I reached high school, I had learned to make myself as invisible as possible. It was easier that way. Emily was already on track for a prestigious college, had tons of friends, and was living the perfect life my parents had always wanted for their children. Meanwhile, I was just trying to get through each day without feeling like a complete failure. The real turning point came when I went to college. I begged my grandparents to help me get as far away from home as possible. They understood. They had watched the dynamic play out for years and were the only ones who ever really supported me. They helped me with tuition and expenses, and I chose a university several states away. It was during college that I met Greg. He was different from anyone I'd ever known: patient, kind, and genuinely interested in me as a person, not as someone's lesser sibling. For the first time in my life, I felt seen and valued for who I was. We got married after graduation, and I thought maybe I could finally have the family life I'd always dreamed of. My parents and Emily barely acknowledged my wedding. They didn't attend, didn't send a card, nothing. It hurt, but I wasn't surprised. Greg's family welcomed me with open arms, and his mom even helped me pick out my wedding dress, something I had always imagined doing with my own mother. A few years into our marriage, we decided to try for a baby. My doctors warned me that pregnancy would be extremely risky due to my heart condition, but we wanted to try. The pregnancy was incredibly difficult. I was hospitalized multiple times and nearly died during delivery. But our son was born healthy, and I survived, though just barely. The doctors were crystal clear: another pregnancy could kill me. My heart simply couldn't handle it again. Greg and I were content with our little family. We had our beautiful son, each other, and a peaceful life far away from my toxic family. I maintained minimal contact with my parents and Emily, mainly through occasional holiday cards and very rare phone calls. The distance was healing. Then last week happened. My parents reached out saying they needed to talk about something important. Against my better judgment, I agreed to meet them at their house.